We're a few days away from the 2024 NFL Draft. We're also a few days away from the one-year anniversary of the New York Jets trading for then Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Joe Douglas had a very interesting thing to say about that. We react to it next.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Aaron Rodgers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast in the audio-only version. Folks, we're 4 days away. My favorite time of the year. There's no question about it. My birthday is on Friday, but my birthday every year is centered around the NFL draft and what the Jets could do and what they do end up doing. It's phenomenal, and I wouldn't change it anything for the world. So quick plug for this week. There's going to be a ton of content, a couple of final mock drafts from some of our wonderful co-hosts and experts and things. Dom C, tomorrow morning, Mock Draft Monday, will have his final New York Jets 7-round mock draft for this channel. We'll be doing that live on the show tomorrow morning. Hope you guys can check that out. Boy Green meets Woody on Tuesday, the Tuesday afternoon show. A final New York Jets mock draft. We'll be doing it either together or separate. We'll figure that part out by the time that we get there. So a bunch of draft content this week to satisfy and quench the thirst of you crazy gosh darn Jet fans out there. So we will be doing our due diligence from that perspective. And I appreciate everybody that's jumping in here. Good morning to everybody. Whether you're watching for the very first time or you're a longtime member of the Boy Green Super Fan Club, which is our YouTube membership group, which can help keep the show live. You guys can join whether you're watching live or after the fact. Feel free to do that. Or also on Heavy on Jets and the Twitter and the YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. We appreciate you all the same. But before we get into all that jazz and answer your questions, which, by the way, keep them coming. We'll be answering them later in the show. Plus, I'll probably open up the phone lines and get some of that action going as well. But Joe Douglas had his 15-minute presser, pre-draft presser on Friday, and he answered a lot of stuff. We talked about some of it yesterday with the Elijah Vera Tucker stuff, but there was something else that he talked about. Rich Cimini of ESPN asked this question about the upcoming one-year anniversary of this trade. And you'll hear the question and answer, and we'll react to it after. But Rich Cimini basically says, hey, man, how do you feel about this trade a year later after everything has transpired? And I want to tell you that I have the same take that Joe Douglas had regarding this trade. Let's roll the footage.
Now that since you're talking about Aaron there, you're exactly a year removed from the trade. Can you just retrospectively talk about how you feel about it a year later? It was such a historic trade, and also, secondly, how it's impacting your draft strategy this year, not having that second round pick.
Yeah. We don't have a second round pick this year. And if I had the choice of not having the second round pick or not having Aaron, I would take Aaron 15 times out of 10. We are, obviously the injury was devastating for all of us, but we're so excited to have him part of this franchise. And just the leadership he brings is, I've talked about it. You guys are probably sick of me saying it, but him connecting with his teammates, his presence in the building, he's a great guy, and I've really enjoyed getting to know him as a man and spending time with him. And, I'm excited about this year.
And I want to double down or triple down because Joe Douglas already doubled down, I guess. I guess he called first dibs on that one. If you told me before I made the trade that Aaron Rodgers' Achilles would explode and you'd miss him for the whole first season of this deal, I would still do this deal. Joe Douglas has 15 times out of 10, 20 times out of 10. I would absolutely pull the trigger on this move because scared money don't make money. The Jets had Zach Wilson, and they said to themselves, we need to do better. Zach Wilson isn't good enough. We have to do better. That's what the Jets told themselves, and that's what the Jets, quite frankly, told the world, that they have to do something different. They have to push their chips in the middle of the table. So me and my father, and if any of you guys watch Hop on Pop, he said that it was a mistake for the Jets to do this. So I would assume his answer, which, by the way, he'll be joining us a week from today. He'll be joining us on Sunday next week, and we'll recap the whole draft together. But he believes that the Jets made a mistake making this move, and it will set the franchise back and all these other things. I don't buy that at all. To have the chance at the forbidden fruit. That's what Aaron Rodgers is. He's the forbidden fruit. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the best in the game all time. And now, I still put him inside the top 10. And he has a chance to go well beyond that. He has a chance to go well beyond that this season and shut all the haters and doubters up, because we didn't see him last year, obviously. And then the year before was the off year with the injured throwing hand. You want to swing the bat. The worst thing you can do, baseball analogy here, is you go to the plate, you have the bat sitting on the shoulder, and it never comes off the shoulder, strike out, go to back. I would much rather, if you're going to get struck out, I'd rather swing for the gosh darn fences than do nothing. And Zach Wilson would have been doing nothing. Getting that Trent Dilfer guy would have been doing the bare minimum. And the Jets decided not to do the bare minimum. They went all in. And even though it didn't work out the first year, obviously, no one could have predicted that injury sucked. Going through that season with all the hype and promise and everything, going, boy, can Zach Wilson do this? And quickly finding out, or eventually finding out that he can't. A couple of flashes the week 4 Kansas City game, like, oh, maybe he can. No, he can't. Okay? We came to that realization. But I would do it all again because I want the chance with Aaron Rodgers. With Aaron Rodgers, we could win the Super Bowl. With Zach Wilson or insert guy that's a barely veteran, a Trent Dilfer, you can't. There's a reason that people that bring up the minimalistic quarterback as one that can help you win the Super Bowl, those examples are 20 years ago, people. The Trent Dilfers, the Brad Johnsons, even the Joe Flaccos. The Joe Flacco example is over 10 years old. The other examples are like 20 years old. You need a quarterback to make plays to be able to have a chance. And Aaron Rodgers can make plays. And this team is talented. This is one of the most talented rosters in football. The Athletic, I'm pretty sure they were the one, or is NFL.com, one of them. They, rated all the rosters in terms of talent in the league. Jets placed number 9. I think that's a little low. And they were behind like the Bills and stuff. Not sure I agree there. But I'll tell you this, the Jets do have one of the most talented rosters in football. And then you plug in a Hall of Fame quarterback who, by the way, is on a mission, was the terminology that Joe Douglas and all these other people have used. When he has a chip on his shoulder, things happen. He won back-to-back MVPs after the Packers drafted Jordan Love. And that's what fires me up about this season. I'm so giddy. I'm so excited because Aaron Rodgers is our quarterback. So Joe Douglas says that, hey, do this trade 10 times out of 10, 15 times out of 10. If I could have the second round pick or Aaron Rodgers, I'd have Aaron Rodgers. So, and let's just be honest here. Let me pull it up. Jets draft history. Okay. So what ultimately did the Jets give up for Aaron Rodgers? 2 second round picks. That's basically the gist of what they gave up. And I will read you the history of Jets second round picks, and you tell me whether you'd have Aaron Rodgers, the chance, and Aaron Rodgers, or second round pick. Okay, Breece Hall, yeah, he's pretty good. Joe Tippmann, undecided. It's 1 year. But Breece Hall, yeah, he's pretty good. But let's keep going. Elijah Moore, 2021, traded. Denzel Mims, 2020, traded. They didn't have a second round pick in 2019. If they did, they probably would have that up. That was Ja'Kai Polite was the next pick in the 3rd round. 2018, they didn't have a second round pick. 2017, Marcus May, he was fine. Ended up getting a nice deal from the Saints. Whatever. Christian Hackenberg, he never played a snap for the Jets. Yikes. Devin Smith, bust. 2015. Yikes. Wide receiver, Ohio State. 2014, Jason Morrow. I can't believe I have that jersey in my closet. Bust. Yikes. 2013, Geno Smith. That was a late bloomer, as the old people like to say. Not for the Jets, but for somebody. I remember that first win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He gets hit late on the sideline. They throw the flag. We get in position to kick a game-winning field goal. I'm like, the Geno Smith era is here, and it was quickly gone. 2012, Stephen Hill. Bust. Yikes. No second-round pick. 2011. 2010, Vlad Dukas. Yikes. Didn't work out. 2009, no second-round pick. 2008, no second-round pick. And then the last really, really good one was 2007, David Hitman Harris. So there were some hits, a lot of misses. A lot of misses. Okay? So that's the point. Aaron Rodgers or 2 second-round picks. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. And. He had taken a $35 million pay cut, the most historic pay cut in history. That was $35 million guaranteed that was going into his bank account until he made the decision for it to not to, which of course helped make all these moves happen. And I also want to say this for the potential Aaron Rodgers detractors in our audience. Tyron Smith doesn't come here if Aaron Rodgers isn't here. Mike Williams doesn't come here if Aaron Rodgers isn't here. Go through the list, people, of the free agents the Jets were able to lure to New York. And they came for the chance to win the whole gosh darn thing with Aaron Rodgers. By the way, I'm texting with Dom C in the middle of this show. And here is the twist for the mock, and I will confirm. No. I'll do a voice to text with him. Nope, sounds good. I love it. I'll see you tomorrow, pal. There you go. Just sent that text. He, for the final mock draft, here's his shtick, which I love it. What Dom C would do, mock draft. So people, I don't know what that's going to look like, but a final 7-round mock draft coming from Dom C tomorrow morning on Boy Green Daily, and it will be, as he says, what he would do. So if he was fixing the Jets, he's the GM. No more predictive what he would do. Okay. We will see what happens. We'll see. John Sauer says Dom C probably wants a cornerback in the first. Well, maybe he will take Quinyon Mitchell. I don't know. Not sure. But, hey, you guys can check that out tomorrow. So Dom C tomorrow morning live at 7:30 for a final 7-round mock draft on this show. And then, like I said, he's going to be doing what he would do, not what the Jets would do. I think I'm going to do a predictive mock sometime this week because I want to try to guess what the Jets will do. So I'll go into the lab and think about that. We'll see if that comes to Boy Green meets Woody on Tuesday, or it's a different day this week. Excuse me. I'll look into that. I'll let you guys know. Anywho, back to the point that I would rather die on the Aaron Rodgers hill and for a moment just know that I lived than to die without giving it a chance. Zach Wilson continuing to ride that train is not giving it a chance. Swinging for Aaron Rodgers, even if it fails. The Brett Favre move, while everyone looks back at it and says, ugh, what were the Jets doing? Okay? And it sucks. I love Chad Pennington. So to see him cast out, thrown aside like nothing, and they signs with a division rival, and they end up winning the AFC East. Yeah, that was karma. That was karma coming back to bite us. But it all started great. 8-3. We had beaten the 10-0 Titans. We lived. Beating the Cardinals in that crazy 6-touchdown Brett Favre game. Darrelle Revis had a pick 6. Anquan Bolden got his skull rocked. Like, there was all kinds of things that were there. And Favre was awesome for that first 11 games. Then he tore a bicep tendon, didn't tell anybody, and the team rode down with that horrible finish. Finished 1-4 down the stretch, 9-7, misses the playoffs entirely. People were talking about us having the number 1 seed. So Brett Favre did good. If he just would have been honest, I don't know, again, would that have been season ending or what? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I think Kellen Clemens was the backup on that team. Let's see if he could have Trent Dilford it and got us to the playoffs. Probably. because Brett Favre ended up having, I think, 22 touchdowns, 22 picks that season. He tried to play through it. So I want to live, man. We've had no playoffs since the year 2011 and the season 2010, man. I'm ready to live. Don't you want to live, Jet fans? After, we have the longest NFL playoff drought, the tied for the longest playoff drought in all major sports with the Buffalo Sabres. It's exactly what John Hepburn says here. This is our window. Do everything to win a championship. Our time is now, man. It's time to stop being, hinky dinky and just push the chips in the middle of the table. Let's friggin' go. This is our shot. And you got to call your shot. You got to be Babe Ruth. You got to point up at the sky. It says, hey, this is where this one's going, pal. Suck it, baby. Pretty sure he didn't say that, probably verbatim, but, didn't DX it. I've got 2 words for you. Probably didn't do that. But I want to win. I want to go for it. That's what I want to do. And what does that mean? I think with the draft, of course, again, that is only 4 days away, baby. That means all in. And all in means different things to different teams, as we've seen this offseason. Jerry Jones. I kid. I don't, but I kid. Okay? It means going all in, baby. That means getting all in pieces that help you right now. And if I'm doing a predictive mock today, we'll see if I get a chance to do one before we get to the draft. But if I'm doing a predictive mock today, what I believe is going to happen on draft day, the Jets are getting a pass catcher for Aaron Rodgers. So I'm sorry to the offensive line crowd, John Sauer and several others in here that want the offensive line. If I'm doing a predictive mock of what I believe is actually going to happen, I think they're going pass catcher. Could be Bowers, but I think their goal, their hope, is one of the big 3. And that one I'm circling is Rome Odunze, the wide receiver out of Washington. Whether that's at 10, whether that's at 8, trading up with the Falcons, the Dirty Birds, and securing that weapon, I think that's going to be the move the New York Jets make. And by the way, that would be historic. After years of neglect in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers has never had a first-round wide receiver or tight end taken by a team that he was on. The Packers never did it in his entire run with the Green Bay Packers. And the Jets haven't done it. Now, he's only had one former first-round player ever catch a touchdown pass from him. That was Mercedes Lewis, the longtime Jacksonville Jaguar, ended up coming to the Packers later. And I think he caught like 6 or 7 touchdowns from Rodgers. Of course, they have a chance now if they draft nobody, because Garrett Wilson, top 10 pick, Mike Williams, top 10 pick, and then potentially this third person, whoever that is, Rome Odunze, like I said, is the guy of choice that I believe is the one the Jets want, and Rome wants to play for the Jets. It's a match made in heaven, baby. We just need to align the moon, stars, and planets to make it happen. And they may have to trade up to do it, but 10 to 8, what's that going to cost? I don't know, a 4th maybe? Maybe a future 3rd? I don't know. Let's get frisky and find out. But what I think is at the forefront of this conversation is Joe Douglas doubling down on it. And maybe he's just doubling down on it because he has to. But I would say for me, it's doubling down on it in a different way, because I have unwavering faith that Aaron Rodgers is going to come back on a mission and lead this team to the promised land. And for some, that's Super Bowl. For some, that's playoffs. For some, that's others. I'll allow you to interpret that as you will. But for me, it's territory we haven't seen in a long time is where Aaron Rodgers is bringing us. He is the captain of this ship. And I'm willing to push my chips in the middle of the table for the chance at that, which means the all-in aggressive approach in the draft. The Jets only have 7 picks in this draft. Joe Douglas was very open about it, that ultimately the fact of the matter is that, as you look at this team and you look at this construct, by the way, Dakota, good to see you. Rodgers trade, it's the 1-year anniversary. I guess I should have been more clear, I guess. Jets press doubling down. Yeah, doubling down on Aaron Rodgers trade. I don't know. I guess that's pretty clear. I thought that wasn't, but it is as I reread that headline. Come on, Dakota. Get with the program, baby. But No, so that to me is going all in. Now there's some limits to how far the Jets can trade up, I believe. We had that fun run with Daniel Jeremiah a bunch of weeks ago. We predicted a Marvin Harrison to 5 trade up. That's probably too aggressive. They probably don't have the horses in the stable, so to speak, to make a move of that magnitude. But they certainly have a move to move up to Tennessee at 7 or Falcons at 8. That's certainly available for the New York Jets. They could get to that range to make something happen. And I would say my top target is Rome Odunze, my top realistic target, because to be honest, I think Marv's going 4, or at minimum, I believe if the Cardinals stay at 4, they're taking Marv. If they trade back with, let's say, the Giants at 6, they're taking Marv at 6, or the second receiver, because the Chargers could go Marv and then Neighbors 6. And that allows Odunze potentially to fall to us or into our range. So that's how I feel about it. So Rome Odunze would be spectacular. Rome Odunze is the guy. And we'll get more on Rome, actually, later this week. So there'll be a separate episode dedicated to Rome. There's no doubt about it, which I will be excited about. He's 6'3", 212 pounds, 32 and a quarter arms. I mean, the measurables are great. He showed speed that I think people question. 4.45, 41.52, 10-yard split, 39-inch vertical, 10.4 broad jump. I mean, the numbers are spectacular. There's just no other way to put it. There's no other way to put it. A team captain, a guy his teammates revere, the talent's there, the skill's there. Oof. And, of course, he has the same representation as Garrett Wilson, so he's been hanging out with Garrett Wilson. Let's make them hang out even more so. Lance Erline said, elite ball skills are often the secret sauce for top NFL receivers, so it should be no surprise if Odunze is a day one starter, becomes a top flight wide receiver 1, and the Jets already have one of those. They could have 2 of those, depending on how you feel about Mike Williams, but Rome just checks off all this stuff. The character stuff is super important to me, that you don't just want to bring some, diva in the room that can ruin chemistry and things of that nature. So to have a guy like Rome that is built from the right stuff, that has the statistics, that has the size, he just kind of checks off all the boxes for me personally. And I think that's a realistic grab, potentially, for the New York Jets. All right, welcome to the 400 people that are watching live here on the show. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/BoyGreen25, make sure you guys do the free thing. Like the video, hit subscribe. Only takes a few seconds of your time, makes a dramatic difference in the YouTube algorithm. So I appreciate you guys. If you'd like to go the extra step, you can do one of 2 things. YouTube Super Chat, that will skip the queue. We'll guarantee your comment gets answered here on the show. Or join the Boy Green Superfan Club. That is the money sign on YouTube if you're watching. If you'd like to join the show, join the group for a small fee every month. But we are 4 days away. All right, let me go through my comments here. John Sauer, who's been on the offensive line train the entire time. He says this, Matthias, definitely want OT in the first, but I'm trusting JD will do what's right for the team. One pick I don't want is Bowers, but if Joe Douglas thinks he's it, then so be it. I will also say this. I think that's kind of a great way to have it for John, who obviously wants offensive line. We all have opinions on what the Jets should do or shouldn't do in this draft, but ultimately we must rally around whoever they pick. Hopefully it's not a defender, but anything else, I'm kidding. But, you rally around whoever they pick, and we hope they're a wonderful success, that the Jets know better than us. They're the one doing all this homework and stuff. So let's get it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. FPP says, I saw an article where the Packers and Jets make a big trade. I don't know what the trade would be for. I don't think I'm trading that far back in the first round unless they're giving me first round picks for like the next 1,000 years. So I don't think I'd go in that direction. But I don't know what article you're talking about either. Okay. John, we love first round picks, that's for sure. It's always a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun breaking them down and reacting to them. And we will be doing that on draft night. Thursday morning, we'll have a Boy Green Daily. 3 o'clock, I think we're going to end up doing buy or sell. There should be a lot of Jets rumors out there. We will buy or sell them with Boy Green Meets Woody at 3 o'clock on that draft day Thursday. And we'll see what other content we have cooking for Thursday. So TBD, we'll let you know. Robert says, how do I feel about the new helmet logo? I freaking love it. Again, it's over my right shoulder for those who are watching. If you're just listening, it is the JETS with the trailing J. And it was cool for you guys who haven't seen it yet. If you go to the official New York Jets social media portals or their app or YouTube or anything, you can see the history behind it, which is a cool little 8-10 minute video about the guy who came up with it, like in the 60s, 70s. Super cool. And it's awesome. And I love it. I love the logo. I hope it stays forever. I hope they never change it again. There's a modernized look to it. The uniforms look great. I've not bought any of the merch yet. Like I said, I've got some financial situations I'm dealing with here, so I will have to wait until I save up some shekels to get some, dip my personal toe into some of those waters. But I hope you guys buy it all up. It looks awesome. I've peeked around at the shop just because I'm a sicko. But yeah, it looks awesome. So I hope you guys get it all. Jared B says it's going to be a corner at 10. That would blow the barn doors off. Oh, it could be Knoble as the corner at 10. It could be. Knoble's getting a lot of steam lately. I've been seeing a lot of Knoble. A lot of Knoble lately. He could be a sleeper pick. Let's see. On Knoble, number 7. Knoble in the draft. It just kind of depends. He's a good scheme fit, but we'll see. A lot of people are going to be in on Knoble. Wow. Oh, I didn't hear about that. Jared B says, anyone else get their order canceled on the Jet Shop? I ordered within minutes. They sent me an email saying the hats sold out. Brutal. Like, can't they just crank out more hats? Like, it's a $1 billion organization. How do you run out of hats? That seems odd. John Sauer, Knoble plays all positions and both sides of the ball, I heard. Yeah. What is he, 5'7", $170? Yeah. Someone's going to get a steal there. Ricky New York says, Zach Wilson couldn't carry Knoble's cleats. Not many could. I loved his interview with Jake Asman. That was really nice. You know, prospects are really busy this time of year, so it was nice to see that interview on his channel. Rodgers reminds me of Vinny Testaverde. I heard he still has an arm. Phil, Vinny could play until he was dead. He just is so committed. Oh, that's so cool. Snowball says, I'm going crystal shopping with Aaron today. We're getting matching green calikites. Very nice. Very nice. Jared B says, Knoble excels in any extreme weather. Hot or cold, doesn't matter. Those are the prospects you like, because sometimes you get a certain prospect, certain weather, it doesn't still has the arm and stuff. John Hepburn says, this is the window. After this year, it starts to fall apart. Let's go get it. I don't know if it starts to fall apart after here, but, but we are in the middle of the window. Yeah, shout out to the Knicks for taking out the Philadelphia 76ers. Very nice. Fun game, back and forth. Oh, that was good. Hopefully Joel Embiid's okay. Although I don't know how Knicks fans feel about that. Maybe they'd prefer him not to be okay to make it easier, but. Good morning, Harvey. Good morning. Good morning, John. Good morning, Phil. Okay. Yep. We can learn a lot from Dom C. There's no question about it. We'll see. That is his thing. That is coming up tomorrow. Trade up for one of the receivers. Again, that's my take, baby. Let's do it. Let's trade up. I prefer Roma Dunze. And that's the thing, John, that he mentions here on YouTube. If you go wide receiver, it's not like it's over in the offensive line department. Make the call to David Bakhtiari, see what it would take. Again, it may take some Aaron Rodgers convincing, but let's get Rome, let's get Bakhtiari, and then whatever in the third round. I don't know. More offensive line help, maybe? Maybe. Who knows? FPP says, if Favre stayed healthy, the Jets would have won the Super Bowl. That would have been a lot of fun. That year was a lot of fun. I know it ended horribly, but it was a lot of fun in the beginning. Let's see. Rodgers was a no-brainer and continues to be a no-brainer in my mind, Phil. My father chimes in. Hopefully chasing Rodgers doesn't waste the potential for this defense. Again, I think you're wasting the potential for this defense by continuing to rot away with a offense that produces 15 points a game. And Zach Wilson's of the world. And if you would have went for a Jacoby Brissett, there's a limited ceiling on what you can do there. With Aaron Rodgers, there's no limited ceiling. With Aaron Rodgers and this defense, that's the potential I'm chasing, baby. But hey, different strokes, different folks. Paul Aston Sr. says, the task in the draft, bolster offensive line. Yeah. Get weapon or two. Yeah. quarterback of the future? Yeah, that's basically the to-do list. Yeah, I'd say. And then fill out some, some window shopping, some icing on the cake. Throw another safety, throw another defensive lineman, maybe another corner, kind of, just a couple of final shopping cart items. That's what I'm looking for from the Jets. Rome. I love Rome. Jared B says, did you see the article on the New York Post about the best drafting teams the last 5 years? Jets were in the top 5. Oh, really? No, I have not seen that. You'll have to send that to me separately. I did not see that. Even John Sowers on the Odunze train saying, have to say Odunze is a beast, much like Metcalf. Yeah, he's a freak. I really love Odunze. Let's go to M1 Trox on YouTube. I'm really hyped for the season. Can't believe that we have this gigantic chance to achieve something big. We absolutely do. We're kind of lying in the weeds. There's only so much lying in the weeds you can do with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, but, that's exciting. Snowball says this. What happens if we come up just short of the promised land? What happens next? Well, what does that mean? Is promised land to use Super Bowl? So, yeah, we go to the AFC Championship game. What happens next? We run it back, baby. I will put this in plain Jane terms. If the Jets don't make the playoffs, everyone's fired and gone. If the Jets make the playoffs and don't win a playoff game, everyone's probably fired and gone. If they make the playoffs, win a game, go on a run, make some noise, they're probably all coming back. That's probably the gist. Miss the playoffs, everyone gone. Make the playoffs, don't do anything, everyone's still probably gone. There's not going to be a participation trophy for ending the playoff drought. That's nice. I hope that's something that's accomplished with a lot of other things being accomplished. Like, to me, I don't just want to say, oh, finally, we made the playoffs. What a loser mentality that would be. Doing a Boy Green Daily after the playoffs. Well, at least we made it. Now take the next step next year. No, it doesn't have to be incremental. It doesn't have to be, well, first you got to do this, and then you can do this, and then you can do this. No, you can do a lot of things all at once. Excuse me. That's how I feel. But hey, different strokes. Jokic was awesome. Beat the Lakers. Yep. Everyone wondering how Dakota's doing. Hopefully he's doing okay. Dunze is a great character guy. Rome is an end zone weapon. Okay, a lot of there. My father says, no need to waste additional draft capital on moving up. Weapons available at 10 or later. It just gets a little bit nerve-wracking. If Rome's there at 10, sure, it looks like the greatest thing since sliced bread. But if Rome is at 8 and you didn't move up, giving up the minimal capital it would have required to do it, and someone else does, people are going to be like, wow, so the Jets sat on their hands for the principle of what? We could get another guy? Not all receivers are made the same. Not all receivers in this draft are built the same. So, with all due respect, the Brian Thomas Juniors of the world, I'm nervous about. Anyone outside the big three, I'm nervous about. Now, there's, guys like Ricky Pearsall who are really interesting, but you're not taking him at 10. So, I don't know, man. There are other weapons, but there's a big gap. These three receivers, big gap. Big gap. What's your thoughts about Roman Wilson? We draft him in the first round. Oh, if we draft OT. I was about to say, whoa, Roman Wilson, that'd be a little aggressive. Yeah, that would be a wonderful combination. If you could tell me offensive tackle at 10, and then the Jets get him at 72, that would be wild. He probably goes in the second round, so you'd probably need to trade back from 10 to 14 with the Saints, pick up a second and change, and then, or I don't know if they have a second, I'll have to double check, but you trade back with them, get a second or third, package your 2/3 to move up for Roman. That would be a wonderful haul. I think Roman's really good. I don't think he's this instant starting guy, so maybe you'd have to pair him with a veteran. If Boyd's still available at the draft or OBJ's after the draft, maybe you could pair those guys together if you don't believe Rome can make that massive step. But Roman Wilson, I keep thinking Rome Odunze. Roman Wilson, I think would be a lot of fun. A lot of Rome Odunze love, though. Jared B says Odunze would be a dream come true for the Jets. FPP, Rome is fire. Hot fire. Okay. All right. I like the support. Avatal says, trade up for Jones is a top thought 4 days before the draft. Trade 8 and 72 for 10 and 109. Yeah, that'd be great if you don't give up any pick, just slide back a little. That would be ideal. I agree with Avatal here that if you can move up and the Falcons are just cool, like jumping up 40 spots basically, which is what this would be, then phenomenal. Let's do it. Let's go crazy. That would be awesome. And then you don't lose. You still have your 7 picks, and you just get a higher quality where it matters in that key moment. And then you have 3 4th-round picks. That would be phenomenal. So that's the first time I've heard of that. Avatar as a potential option, but I like that. I have not seen that documentary. Phil says, if you haven't seen it, watch a documentary of a Doomsday grandfather, very humble guy. You'll have to send that to me, somebody on social media. Again, @BoyGreen25, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. My email is paulaesdenjr@gmail.com. Feel free to send that. I'd love to see it. Yeah, Rome story. I read in The Beast that he used to, milk cows on his grandpa's farm or something when he was younger. Nothing like a fresh cup of milk straight from the cow's teat, I suppose. Different strokes. I have not ever. I've been on a farm, I guess, once or twice in my life, but I have not gotten the milk straight from there. I have not. I'll have to take the word from someone else on that. Yeah, there is a chance if the Brock Bowers 7 Tennessee thing happens. We've heard that rumor, all of a sudden, hey now, all could slip. A Doomsday could slip. Anyone could slip. Then all of a sudden we get a little frisky if Tennessee shocks the draft and goes Brock Bowers and Joe Alt slides or one of the receivers. Then we get a little frisky. That's where all things can get funky. Avatal says, off topic, I feel old as yesterday was 25 years since Rick Rude overdosed. One of the better heels ever. Yeah, there are moments throughout my life, besides the silver whiskers in my hair and beard when I look in the mirror that make me feel old. But there's things just like that. They're like, wow. One of the big things I'll tell you is just I have interns that come in for my radio station. That's my day job. I'm 30. I turn 31 later this week. And the thing is, with my interns coming in, a lot of them were born after September 11th. And it's just weird hearing, hey, when were you born? Yeah, 2004? I'm like, what the? 2004 or 2005? I'm like, I have memories before that. So it just makes me feel old when I hear those. That's part of the ones where they say things and I have memories before they were born. I'm like, wow. Okay. So that one's very humbling in your face, to be honest. Avatar's flying up to New Jersey this afternoon. Nice. All right. Dyke Tyson here says, we have the high-powered defense, adding an immediate star like one of the top 3 receivers to our offense, and Aaron Rodgers will have an MVP season throwing a Jets' future offensive rookie of the year. That'd be nice. That'd be his 5th MVP. I believe tying Peyton Manning with 5. FPP says, Boy Green, that trade was Packers-Jets swap rounders, get pick 41 plus I think you get 3rd, 4th. That's terrible. That's terrible for the Jets. To go back that far and only get a 2nd and a 3rd and 4th week, yeah, no. That sounds like garbage. If I'm dropping that far back, they're giving me a future first. If not, kick rocks, pal. I'm not trading to the mid-20s. Kick rocks, pal. That ain't happening. And even if they offer the future first, I'd have to think long and hard about it because, I like being at the top of the draft because I want pieces that can help me win a championship right now. Taylor Sterling says, I'm going to say it again. Don't care about another 10. Almost can't mess that up. Have you been a Jets fan for long, Taylor? You can 100% mess that up. I've seen plenty of Jet mess-ups with top 10 picks, but that's neither here nor there. You want Xavier Legette the 2nd round, however we can make that happen. We'll see. They don't have a 2nd right now, so we'll have to see. Avatar, Paul, will there be a fan mock draft? That's a good idea. I know that's like the green bean special normally on Mondays, but maybe we could do that. That could be kind of fun. I'll put that in my notes right now, a fan mock as an idea, because I like mixing it up for our final. I will definitely have my own final, but a fan idea, I'll put that in the notes. And yes, because Antonio Pierce recruited Jaden to Arizona State or was with him at Arizona State with Herm Edwards and everybody. Yeah, I could see that. Hey, anything can happen in this draft. You don't know. Oh, Peter Campisi. His mom knew Knoble's grandma from bingo. Oh, all right. That's nice. Nice. No Thomas Jr. or Latham at 10. Yeah, Thomas Jr., I'd be like, that one would kind of, he's exciting on paper, but when you look a little deeper beyond the numbers, you're like, I don't know. I get the heebie-jeebies. Played with a lot of star talent at LSU. Has focus drops, things of that nature. I've heard basically how draft analysts have described to me, man, if you get him in the right coach's hands, you have this perfect piece of clay you can mold. I don't want to mold. I want a guy right now step in. Like Rome, I don't have to mold. He will get better with time, naturally. But right now, step in. He can help. That intrigues me. I think Latham might be the surprise pick. I think he might go 5th overall to the Chargers. That's possible. Could go surprise early. As Harvey says, hit that like button, everybody. Like the video. Hit subscribe. William says, I would be happy with Pearsall and Roman as I would at Dunze. Oh, no. It's different for me. There's no way. Pearsall and Roman are cool, but I wouldn't be the same level of excited as I would be for a Dunze. No, I'm not there. It's good for you to be there, William, but not me, man. No, sir. John Sauer says, the best defense is a good offense. That's for damn sure. Put up points and put the pressure on others, man. That's it. Let me see. Anthony asks on Facebook, what's your take on the reboot of the unis? Again, same thing. We've got, I think less is more. To be honest, I don't, people might throw rocks at me. I didn't hate the 2019 version that had New York on the front and the black, green, and white, which was stealth black, Gotham green, spotlight white. I didn't hate those as much as everyone else, and I have plenty of those in the closet. But at first, the New York thing, I was like, how do I feel about that? And I'm like, well, that's cool. You're kind of like claiming like this is us and it's important, so it made it on the jersey. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, we know you're in New York. We don't need it. So the jerseys, to be honest, the simplistic look I really enjoy. There's not anything else there. There's no real Jets insignia or anything of that nature. They're just classic uniforms, like the green, white stripes, the black, the green collar. And then the white, obviously, is the legacy white that you're running it back with the white and the green. So, to be honest, I love them. I love the simplicity. I think they look awesome. And I want to buy as many of them as possible that I can, which is none right now, but in due time, I hope. In due time, I do hope that we do get there. Let's see. We have the worst head coach and offensive staff in the NFL. And, well, that's TBD, Tales of the Asphalt Jockey. Let's see what they do with the quarterback, and maybe we'll keep saying that. Ricky, New York. Jermaine Johnson's made it pretty clear which quarterback he would like us to take, and I must say I agree 100%. Of course, that is Jordan Travis, is the tweets he's been saying. Tin Star, how big is the gap between Puka and Adunze? It's a hard question to answer because, like, pre-draft, it's massive, obviously. Puka went in the 5th round. Adunze is going to go top 10. But, like, it's hard to, like, take away what we saw this year from Puka, which would have made him go higher, and then compare him to Adunze. So that's more difficult to do. So you're kind of, in fairness, you have to compare, like, pre-draft process. And if you do that, then 5th round to top 10 pick. So it's harder to do it the other way around, I think. Okay. Yeah, so that's difficult for me to evaluate in that way. 72 for Rattler. That'd be aggressive. Phil, you're a youngin', Paul. 31. My God, wait till you hit 50. Yeah, that's probably true. Age is just a number, right? Okay. The window's open for now. Yes, I agree. Absolutely it is. As Harvey's yelling, hit that like button, baby. Yeah, I'd love for 5 quarterbacks to go in top 10. I think it's only going to be 4, though. But sure, let's get a 5th. Let's get Michael Penix in there. I think Penix ends up slipping, to be honest. I love Penix, but I don't know if the NFL loves Penix. 10 star. Every mock I've attempted where I don't take an offense tackle the first round, leaves me with scraps after day one. I agree. I concur. As someone who's been doing a lot of these mock drafts, absolutely I concur. Which means, like I said, you have to go with a veteran instead, or a developmental guy, or both, quite frankly, and get like a Bakhtiari or Donovan Smith. That would be a fan favorite for me. Yeah, that would be it for me. Every day is age is a number. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Okay. Patrick Paul, if we can acquire a second round pick, we'll see if we can. 10 star. Here's why I asked that question. There are some of us who saw the talent of Puka but knew where we could get him because of his injury. Well, 10 star, credit to you. You should be a scout then, because I didn't hear a lot of people saying, wow, Puka's awesome, but he's just injured. I must have missed that narrative in the pre-draft process. So, yeah, I did not hear a lot of that. Okay. Nick here. According to StatMuse, the Jets were the NFL's most penalized team in 2023. If that's true, it points to coach we need to have better discipline regardless of talent. That's 100% true. That was something that was bothering me a lot because that's coaching. And then Saleh kind of like throughout the season kind of like dodged questions about it, just said, it's just the little things. He broke down penalties and all these different categories of like dumb penalties, in the moment penalties and all these other things. And he just tried to excuse it away. They just need to get back to basics and get away from that stuff. Because you're right, Nick, again, part of the Boy Green Superfan Club here. At the end of the day, you just have to, bite the bullet and fix your problems. You can't just excuse it away. And unfortunately, the Jets do that a lot. All right, I'll end the show here. I will take a couple of callers here on the show, and then we'll sign off. I got to head over to get my family breakfast again. But before we get there, I will answer a few calls here on this Sunday. If you're watching on any of the other platforms, again, we're streaming live on 3 different platforms. That is Jets, that is on youtube.com/boygreen25, and also on Twitter. The only way you can click and join the show, video link to call in, is via YouTube. I just posted that. That is there for anyone. All you have to do is be in a relatively quiet space and make sure I see on camera on the green screen, and I will, or the green room rather, and I'll see you guys pop in. So the video link to call into the show is live. That is now on YouTube. That is the pinned comment on YouTube. So if you hop on over to it, it should be highlighted there in the top right-hand corner. Feel free to click it and call in if you have any questions you'd like to get to here on the show. We'll get to a couple, and then we'll sign off here on the show. And like I said, it's been a great show. I appreciate that, Harvey. Thank you. Keep it alive, baby. Let's keep it rolling. Like I said, let me look at my schedule real quick. We got Dom C tomorrow. He's going to do his mock draft. We should have Joe Caporoso on Tuesday for Boy Green Daily in the morning. We have Woody at Tuesday afternoon. That's that one. That's his final mock draft. And then we'll see what happens. And I think Thursday is going to be buy or sell draft rumors with the Jets. So we'll keep you guys posted. I think that's my schedule. I will peek at some others. Might get another draft analyst on. We will see. All right, let's jump in. We've got Alan joining us here on the show. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Awesome, thanks.
7:30 in the morning on a Sunday. God bless you. God bless you. Lucky. My wife has work at 7 in the morning, so I was up in the morning. As far as J.C. Latham, I can see him going to the Chargers, but at 11. Especially if they make that deal with the Vikings, because I think the Vikings move up to 5 and grab either May or McCarthy. That makes the most sense, especially with them getting that 23rd pick from Houston. Mm-hmm. As far as the Jets are concerned, and I agree with you, just listening to JD, I think they're going pass catcher, and I think it's a Dunze, and I think they move up to 8 to get him.
Yeah.
It makes too much sense. I want to tackle in the first round, but again, if we can get one of the 3 wide receivers in the top 10, I would do it. Again, as you can tell, I am not a Brian Thomas Jr. fan. Yeah. I do not want him at 10. I think it would be an extreme reach, especially with this coaching staff. He's a guy that will need to be coached up a lot, and I don't want to reach to get a guy like that at 10.
Let me present you this scenario, Alan, okay? Because I think there's a chance, and this would be crazy if this happens. if Rich Cimini's right and Tennessee shocks the draft and they go Brock Bowers, and then there's 8, and the Jets call up, there are 2 players on the board at 8, Joe Alt and Roma Dunze, and they're still on there. But, you start doing the math of like, who is that the picks, bang, bang, and then you're left there at 10 with the same normal stuff, or do you trade up to 8 and get one of them? If you trade up to 8, which one are you going for?
That is a really hard question for me because I am in love with Joe Alt, and I've been in love for 4 months. And to me, with a 33-year-old tackle who you basically have to pray every morning that the guy is going to get out of bed and can play, I would take Joe Alt at 8. I really would. That's the guy I would go get. I would jump up and get him. Do I see Bowers going 7 to the Titans? I just don't. I don't.
Yeah, I haven't this entire time, but as soon as Rich said it, it was almost like a no. And I'm like thinking about it. And then people were, when I tweeted out the little thing, as soon as I heard the episode, minutes after, I was getting people saying, yeah, see, Paul, they've got like, I'm going to butcher the guy's name. It's like a Conqueror or whoever the hell they have at tight. I was like, yeah, I guess. But yeah, I was like, wow.
But I would go get Joe Alt.
Okay.
I would take Joe Alt in 2 seconds. I think it's funny because I never thought that Tyron Smith would come here for the amount of guaranteed money he got.
Oh, yeah.
I was the type of guy, and people killed me for months. I would have traded next year's first to move up to get Joe Alt if Tyron Smith was not here.
Oh, yes, I think me too.
Everybody would have thought of that.
Oh, yeah.
Now that Tyron Smith is here and you expect him to play, I mean, optimistically, 11 to 13 games this year.
That's probably fair.
And maybe you can chip in 4 or 5 from a Bakhtiari. But again, Joe Alt was my first love in this draft, and I would love to go get him. If he's there at 8 and you could move up to get him, I would do it. Again, if Alt and Adunze are there at 9 for the Bears, that would be an interesting topic because, I mean, Alt is right in their backyard. He's a guy I think they would go get. Even though Braxton Jones played well for them, I think they would draft him at 9 over Adunze.
I think so too, because then you could go Joe Alt and Darnell Wright for the long term. Right, Braxton's been fine, but you go Joe Alt, Darnell Wright. How can you not sell that for the Caleb Williams, like getting the most out of it, 100%? And then Jets are the team that goes, Roma Dudes at 10. Let me think about that one. Run up the pick. Yeah.
But to me at 10, if one of the 3 wide receivers and Joe Alt are there, you jump and get him. I would move back if none of those 4 guys are there. To me, it's a reach to take anybody else at 10. Then to me, I think Joe Douglas did not do his due diligence to move back. I don't care if you move back 2 or 3 spots to get yourself another top 75 pick. That's what I would do. But again, if one of those 4 guys are there at 10, or if you could slightly move up to an 8 and trade a 4th to Atlanta and trade a 3rd to Atlanta and get a 4th back, I would do that for Adunze. But again, those are the only 4 guys I would take at 10. But again, 7:30 in the morning. God bless you, Paul, man. Have a good one.
Thanks, Alan. It's funny. When I pitched this show to my work, they first asked, what time would the show be? And would this only be like 4 or 5 days a week? I'm like, no, every day. They're like, including the weekend? I'm like, yeah, every day. And then I've been doing it every week. I'm like, yeah, there we are. Anywho. All right, let's go to the Esden zone. My father joining us. The phone lines are packed, so I love it. Let's keep it rolling. What's up, Pop?
Hey, good morning from South Carolina. Happy Sunday.
Wow, you're on the move. You're a moving target. You don't want the FBI to know wherever the heck you're hiding. I like it. So South Carolina now. Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a safe house.
Excellent. I can see it looks like that. Are you safe? Do you get to like kind of wink twice at me? What's happening here? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you the high sign.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Just a couple questions.
Sure.
One is you've talked about doing a lot of things this week. Is there going to be a definitive list of this is what's happening on your shows, these shows? Because I would just say, the fans here in your chat would like some kind of definitive, this is what's going to happen. That's my first question.
Yeah, so let me answer that one. So we have you coming up a week from today. We will do, and by then, obviously, day 1, 2, 3, Thursday, day 1, Friday, day 2. That's rounds 2 and 3 for the less informed NFL draft fan. And then Saturday is 4 through 7. Then Sunday, we'll have a chance to kind of sit back. Well, we won't have a million years, but we'll have some level of time because the draft should end around 5, 6, 7 o'clock. And me and you should have time to kind of settle, see what the Jets kind of did, and then give a full reaction on that Sunday. So we're working our way back from there. So we should have that. We're going to have, like I said, Dom C tomorrow. It's a what would he do mock, and I'm just going to sit by and press the button. So we have him. Joe Caparoso of Badlands is supposed to join us tomorrow. We'll kind of get into all kinds of fun gizmos and gadgets. Also, me and Woody. It's either going to be a dual mock draft where we each have one going live at the same time, or we'll do another co-GM one together. And then we are doing buy or sell on Thursday on Jets Draft Rumors. And then I believe Wednesday is the one currently on the schedule. It could be Thursday morning for me, where I do a predictive mock where I'm just going to pick not what I feel, what I believe the Jets are actually going to do on draft day. I think that will probably be the full scope outside of some surprises before that point.
Okay, very good. And you actually almost answered the second question. So
Okay.
I think there's three things.
Yeah.
Right? There's what the Boy Green draft would be.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There's what you think the Jets draft will be, which may not be different. And then what you think the first round looks like for the league.
Ooh,
so those three things, are you laying those out this week?
Okay, let me put that on. Yes, I will. I'm a man of the peoples. Okay, Boy Green mock. Okay, all right. Predictive. Let me put that on there. Mm-hmm. And then the other one was NFL full first round. It's fun that since this show's inception, I haven't been able to do that, but I've been doing it for years on my radio show. We do a first round mock on the show, and I've been kicking some patuki of our predictive nature. I've been getting 8 or 9 right out of 32, and I'm feeling pretty good about that number. I'm like, okay, very nice. So I get player to team and all that jazz. So yes, that's now on the sheet.
Oh, very good. No, that's it. I figured I'd jump in. I will just say here, I am completely against the Jets moving up in the draft unless Jesus Christ declares eligible. With the team they have, with the needs they have, they put themselves in a great situation, the Jets, to be successful. Giving up draft capital will deter that, right? We need to bolster that offensive line. One of those tackles is going to get hurt, and then his substitute that misses a cut block, for example, and now Aaron Rodgers' season is over. That's what I'm worried about. That's the need for the offensive line, right? The history there at the two players that tackle, it's a solid line, but anything can happen to those big uglies. And when one of them goes down, we need them to protect Aaron, or we don't want it to be one game in 4 plays. So that's why I'm jumping up and down about that. But don't waste the draft capital you have. Do a balanced draft. That's okay.
I will ask this question because apparently we have the phone lines loaded. So I'll ask everyone this question because I'm kind of curious about it. So you don't want them to move up, but let's say they say, screw you, Esden Zone. We're moving up anyway. They moved up to 8, and both players are on the board. Joe Alt, Roma Dunze. Who's the card?
Yeah, it's Joe Alt all the way.
Okay. All right.
It's really that need, right? The need to have him come in and be there. Joe Alt, 100%. We know the wide receiver, I believe from North Carolina, is
Tez Walker.
Yeah, Tez Walker. Yeah. And so there is talent past the first round. And so if Joe Alt was on the board, I would take him. And yeah.
Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. I'll make sure I ask everybody because, like I said, there may be a chance that ends up happening if Rich Samini's nugget he heard about Tennessee and Brock Bowers ends up coming true. All right, Pop, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure I'll talk to you. Well, I know for sure I'll be talking to you before the week is up, but a week in public form, we'll be doing this show. I'm looking forward to recapping that Jets draft.
All right. Enjoy your breakfast at Maria's, I believe. I have an entire tribe of Puerto Rican women downstairs cooking my breakfast. So.
Excellent. There you go. That's phenomenal. Well, the teamwork makes the dream work, I suppose. Pop, thanks for popping on.
All right. Thanks.
All right. There he is. Also, we have another one here. This is kind of like, that one Bill Belichick, COVID draft, and then they went to the Bill Belichick camera and his Siberian Husky was in front of the computer. We kind of have that right now with Gator. As I go to his, we've got Gator here. Rough.
What do you say, buddy? How are you?
Hey, what's popping?
Just wanted to pop in and say hello. I don't want to take too much time. I know you got a lot of people on hold, but I did want to ask, do you have at this point, a week out, you must have on a scale from 1 to 10, some sort of draft hangover of let's get this thing over with. Because a week from today, right? What are we going to talk about?
Yeah. Well, I guess a week from today specifically, we'll be recapping the draft. But you're right. That Monday after, then what? Which I'll have to double check the Jets Phase 1 OTA schedule. So I guess it'll be a lot of that probably, and dreams and speculation and predictions. Oh, the schedule. I guess the schedule comes out in May. So that'll be the next big one coming out shortly thereafter. It's normally the first or second week in May.
Yeah, at least we can stop arguing about, Brock Bowers and, trade back, trade up. I mean,
yeah.
I just think that there's no way to know until, we get into the head of, what's happening behind the scenes and what the offers are and this and that. I mean, I'd love to trade back and get some of those extra picks, but for me, it's got to be O-line, and short of that, if there is a stud player there at 10 that we can't, a weapon that we can't, pass up on, great. But it's tough to predict, man, because we don't know what's going to happen in terms of the offers that come in. And I mean, even if Joe Alt's available, great, you take him. But if the right offer comes along, to jump back a few and grab 2-3 picks out of it, I'll tell you, I'd love to get a first round pick for next year from some team that we think is going to tank, because that's when I think we should get our quarterback. I think we should get our quarterback like first pick next year, because that's the true, because I do believe that, barring injury, Aaron's going to play another year. So let's less worried about getting that, developmental quarterback. How good of a developmental quarterback are we going to get this year? In the 4th, 5th, 6th round, whatever. It's just going to be, a miracle if we pull that off. So
what's the offensive lineman you want? You said you want an offensive lineman and a potential trade back. Who's the one you're targeting?
I mean, if it's 10, it's just Alt or a weapon for me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, because I think if we go back 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 spots, whatever, as long as we're in the first round, we're going to get a lineman, because we don't need a lineman who's going to start. That's the thing, is like, the nice thing about getting a weapon, right, is he's going to start. We get a lineman, he might sit on the bench, and we can't afford that right now with Rodgers. So there's so many variables, man, and I'm not smart enough to really figure it all out. But I leave it to the experts, and Joe D, we trust.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Gator, I love the scenery. I love the dog. Oh man, beautiful. Enjoy these walks, man. You go on these all the time. I'm jealous. I need to get healthier. I need to get moving and grooving out there. Yeah,
it's where I get all my best ideas to feed, Mr. Jay Gasman, who I got to spend 5 days in Las Vegas with coming up.
I can't wait. That's going to be so cool, man.
Yeah, hope to talk to you, man. Hope we get on each other's shows at some point, and and enjoy this time, because it's fun.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. Enjoy your weekend, pal, and we'll be seeing you in Vegas with Jake.
Bless you and the family, pal.
All right, you too, pal. Gator joining us here on the show. Love it. All right. And these phone lines are popping. All right, let's move on here. Who's next here? Okay. In order here. All right, we got NY Jets FL here on the program. What's up, buddy?
Morning, Paul. It's an honor to follow a celebrity like Fake Asman.
Yeah.
That right up. Fellow Floridian.
Yes.
Your dad is moving so much, you would almost think he's moving around nuclear secrets at this point, and that's a
it feels that way, right?
Yeah, that is a literal joke, because I understand his profession. And Paul, you got me a little bit nervous with the color of your hoodie today. I thought you were converting to the Dolphins, like I was converting to the accused of being a Buccaneer fan, as I wear a Jet hat.
I see that all the time. Yeah, my color, I got to do a better studio here, because this is the old school Kelly green for the Jets, but they didn't go back to this color, which that's the thing I didn't know with the retro logo convert, that they were coming up with their brand new color, calling it Legacy Green. I thought they were going back to the Kelly greens for sure. So I got to get a better lighting situation. Like I've got like a spotlight on me, so people are like, gee, like I'm being trapped or held hostage here. So I need to get a much better lighting situation for better fluorescent colors. The full color palette coming out. So TBD. That's a studio upgrade coming.
Yes, sir. I really think it's a pipe dream that Odunze. Good morning, Ziara. What's her name? Ziara?
Yeah. Good morning, Zaraya. It's okay. Say hello.
Good morning, Zaraya. I know you don't, but hi. Hey, that's okay. She's probably hungry. I'll make it quick. Paul, I really think it's a pipe dream that Odunze is going to be anywhere near past 7. he is such a 1A type of receiver that I just can't see that kind of guy falling at all. I mean,
Right.
let me ask you this, Paul. Is
Yeah.
Higgins' contract? I mean, would the Bengals be looking to trade up for Dunze? There's got to be other teams that can see in a Dunze and be like, wow. Even the Raiders. I mean, Devontae's not getting any younger. He's a lot of money. He's a lot of money. They can also draft a quarterback. The Raiders, move up into the first round again. They had to and catch a Penix or a Knicks if they can't get one early. So I think Harrison and Adunze are so close that I don't think it's realistic that we can just flip a fourth rounder and move up one spot anymore. I just
Yeah, I
don't see
wonder
it.
what the price would be. That's a good question, and I wonder because there would be competitive. But let's just go to your point. Somehow, Rome's there at 10. I think there would be a lot of people, to be honest, that'd be willing to make the Godfather offer. Now, it's up to the Jets on who to take it from. Because, like, for instance, I would tell the Bills to shove it. There's no way I'm handing Rome a dude in a silver platter to the Bills. But I would imagine there's a ton of teams. The Bengals, that's a good one because then they could, in theory, get a dude, say, flip T. Higgins for like a late first or an early second to somebody else, and then they get the cheaper guy. So, like, you're right. Bengals are a good example. Jaguars are a good example. They lose Calvin Ridley. So they could be the team. I think they're one behind or after the Bengals. I think they're 19 and Bengals are 18, and they could come up, or they're 17, whichever. They're somewhere in that range, and then they come up. So I think if Rome made it, to me personally, I wouldn't answer the calls. I'd be running that pick up, but that's why Joe Douglas has the job and I don't. But I think someone would offer something crazy, and then the Jets would have a decision to make. But I think a lot of teams would be interested.
Yeah, yeah. Even the blasphemous Joe Alt. I mean, like you said, one of those two has to slide if you got four quarterbacks going. Somebody has to slide.
Exactly.
So, and if they make it to 10, we have all, just say theoretically, like Alan's a very good caller, by the way, very knowledgeable caller. Like you said, Paul, say Alt and Odunze make it to 10. Why not think about trading out? I mean, you could hold the team hostage, to move down, up to 5 spots, maybe get a second, maybe get another second next year, whatever.
Sure.
Probably first. I would think about that, especially if you got a couple guys on your board that are close in ranking.
It'd be compelling. It'd be hard to pass up if, again, all of a sudden, because somebody's going to drop. Everyone tells me, no one's going to be there. Well, that's impossible. Only 9 picks can happen before the Jets pick, so someone's going to have to fall. And surprises happen all the time. All you need is the one surprise of someone that wasn't. Dallas Turner goes earlier than we thought, or it goes anywhere inside the timeline. You're like, whoa, okay, there's one more spot for these players. And you start doing the math in your head of how players are slipping or falling. So I think we're going to get a surprise, and I think we're going to be in a compelling range, either multiple are on the board that we want, or we're within range at 8 or 9, we're multiple on the board, which could lead to it. So yeah, it's exciting. We're in the eye of the storm here, baby.
Yep. Paul, I know you got callers and your family needs to eat, especially your daughter. I know how that goes. So You have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thanks, brother. Thanks for calling in. All right, we got our last caller here. He'll finish up the show. He'll do his mic drop here on the program. That is Ricky in New York, gracing us with his presence. Good morning, Ricky.
Hey, good morning, Paul. I haven't really been arguing with people about Bowers or about any prospects, really, because I just look at it as I have the guys I like, they have the guys they like. I'm not as high on a lot of these prospects as a lot of people are. That being said, I mean, it's like 50-50 that Odunze will be there, but there I do see paths where he could be there. We're so focused on the big 3 receivers and the top tackles because that's what we need. But there might be other teams that are looking at like the big 3 pass rushers. And like you said, if Dallas Turner goes early and then say Jared Verse goes, well, somebody might want Latu, we're just not looking at it from the same perspective as other people. But man, I can't take some of these calls with, let's move here, move there. It is not that easy to move. It isn't. There's been a lot of movement in recent drafts, and I think that, plays into people thinking that it's that easy. But moving up is expensive. And I got a news flash for everybody. Not every team wants to move up. You would think they would. You move up, you get the better pick. But not every team wants to move up because they don't want to give up the assets to do it. Likewise, people aren't going to be lining up to give away their second round pick just to move up a couple of spots with us because it would benefit us. Now, that being said, like you said, there's always a surprise every year and stuff. Dude, right before I got on your show, I was looking at Twitter, and this 49ers fan tweets, "We're going to send Ayuk to the Chargers for number 5 and end up with Marvin Harrison, and we will be even better." And I went, "Oh, those bastards." I could almost see that. Could you imagine Marvin Harrison with McCaffrey and that defense?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? That's like an embarrassment of riches, and that's just like such a 49ers thing. Like, I wish I could unsee that because it pisses me off.
We play them this year too. Yeah.
But you know what? We've seen AJ Browns and guys like that. It makes me happy to know that we are at least in on AJ Brown, because I think if you really, really dive into his numbers, he's top 3. It's undeniable. Like the guy's better than people think. God, Tennessee is so stupid, man. Like for giving him away.
And they switch him around for what ends up being Traylon Burks.
Oh God, I know that. Yeah, that's almost like insult to injury. But dude, like yesterday I was talking to Buffalo Jet fan Kevin, and he's comparing Odunze to Devontae. I was thinking like Andre Johnson, big physical dude. Like the comparisons, like he's good, man. The contested catches, and I don't want to hear any Brian Thomas or anything like that, because like. Remind me again, Aaron Rodgers said repeatedly, if guys are in the right spot, I will get them the ball. Remind me why it is with all that speed, Mecole Hardman couldn't see the field. Like, we don't need a fast guy with an underdeveloped route tree. I'm sorry. Like, that's the exact opposite of what we should be looking for. We should be looking for the guy that's the technician, not the burner that can run 3 routes and has
that scares me, man. That scares me. There's a lot of Jet fans on Brian Thomas, but he scares me. The limited route tree, he has focus drops. He sometimes gets lazy with things from the scouting reports I'm reading. I'm like, oh, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
do we still have you, Ricky? I think Ricky's computer froze up. We lost him. Yeah, he's still frozen down there. All right. Sorry about that, Ricky. Yep, so you're still frozen. Yeah, but anywho, I guess we'll end with that. I would just say that ultimately, the Brian Thomas Jr.'s of the world just scare the hell out of me. And that's the kind of thing where if you take somebody like that, where you have to mold them, that's just not that you can't do coaching. You shouldn't be afraid of coaching and that sort of thing happening. But that's a part that freaks me out a little bit. He's got all the measurables. The combine numbers were crazy. The speed's crazy. The size is awesome. All that's crazy. But I just think there might be too much love that needs to be happening there. Yeah, sorry about that, Ricky. I'm still seeing you on my bottom screen. You're like your screen's frozen. So we'll have to get you back on the show. Again, we'll have the calls open throughout. So keep them coming, and we will see. We will see what pops. Again, we'll have Dom C on the show tomorrow, and we'll be doing some mock drafting, that action. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. To the 700 people in the room, make sure on the way out, whether you're watching live or after the fact, like the video, hit subscribe down below. Help spread the gospel of Boy Green and New York Jets talk. We appreciate you, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Enjoy your Sunday with your family. And it's draft week, baby.